I'm not ready.
Oh.
I wasn't even.
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the Funky Panther, coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for coming on and enjoying our faces here on episode 102. We're so glad to be here with you tonight. We've got Court Hoang here with us. You want to say hey?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's get into it. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Tim.
And we are
The Funky
Funky
Panther.
Panther! You went real fast.
You did.
Yeah.
Why'd you rush that?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I have that effect on me. I have a lot of energy I bring in. I make people hyper.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So
Gas
we're
me
just-
up, baby.
We'll
Gas
just blame
me
the
up.
guest for everything tonight.
I'm not going to lie.
Kids are happy about that.
I did get a boost of energy whenever you showed up. And so it kind of, got me up there.
It's been a long week.
yeah, it has.
It really has.
Yeah.
It don't feel like Wednesday.
No.
No, it feels like Monday, part 2.
How's your week been, Court?
Oh, it has not been good, man. I got 3 kids.
Okay.
Oh,
That's the good part.
yes.
That's the way to
But
start it off.
our house is 100 years old, and we have a leak in the front yard. So, with no water. We've had no water for a week and a half.
Oh man, that's
So I'm living in my in-laws' guest house right now, and it's 3 kids and my wife and me and the dog.
Okay.
And these empty nesters are like, how long until the water's fixed? And I'm like, I wish I fucking knew, man. I wish I knew.
Shout out to your in-laws, though.
Yeah,
I know.
Seriously. Oh yeah.
I mean, you gotta love
mad
the support,
respect.
but also
Yeah.
like,
give them
they should fix.
the kids. Give them the kids.
what?
Hooray! No, I mean that's.
Yeah, I think you did that.
There we go. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I shall get my kids on there. That's exactly as excited as they sound when they're cheering.
So are they having to try to find the?
They found it.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like $8,000 to fix it. And they're like, we come out in a couple of weeks, and I'm like,
Did you have a guy go
I
out
don't
there
know if
with
you understand how
the?
this works. I don't have any water. It's like,
Was it with the dowsing rods or whatever? He's like out there with those like copper things.
do you know what
trying
it was? No, I wish. That would have been a lot cheaper, I think. But he came out with they listen. So what he does is he puts air in the pipes, and then he listens for the air to hiss out somewhere. But he's got this super sensitive microphone. He
wow.
sticks by the ground, which to me is about the equivalent of the divining rod. So I'm over here like,
That-
are you sure that's? He put the flag
That's
in.
kind
I
of
was
a
like, "You're
bizarre
sure?"
way.
And
Why
he's
don't-
like, that's as loud as it got. And I was like, it's not inspiring confidence.
Why don't we start doing that?
Doing what?
We get really sensitive microphones, and we'll go out there and find water leaks. We'll just find it. We're not going to fix them.
Right.
Just
We
leave
just
We'll just be like, yes, this is where it's at.
We did it.
Pay me-
$1,000.
Pay me money now.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good gig, actually. So
So that's what they did. Yeah, they found it, and then I had to pay them to find it. They were like, if you want it fixed, that's a different conversation.
holy
Like, all right,
crap.
cool.
I do in fact want it fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need back in my house.
So yeah, that's been my week.
Okay. Well,
else?
sorry to hear that, but at least it's on its way to get fixed, right?
I'm
and
not-
you aren't homeless.
Exactly. That's
So.
it could be so much worse.
Right.
Could be a little better, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. So
Hence the Elijah Craig.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
cheers,
Cheers
cheers.
to that. Cheers. I'll drink to that.
All right, Javier, what have you been up to this past week, man?
Let's see. We went and went to the Shins show last night,
Oh yeah.
and I've been a fan since Garden State. I don't know how once you watch Garden State, you're kind of a fan of any soundtrack Zach Braff puts out
yeah.
for a movie, and it was really great. My girlfriend was really into them, and she loves them to death. And it was the 20th anniversary of their first album, and so we went for that. And a great band that opened for him, Joseph. Their name is Joseph.
Oh yeah.
And,
Okay.
it's like it's a three-piece person band.
Yeah, a three-piece.
Women is also a word.
Yes, 3 women.
Three women.
3-woman band. And man, they sound amazing. And I have had a real what's that one other 3-woman band? Haim?
Dixie
Himes?
Chicks.
Haim?
There's a few of them.
Oh yeah, you're right. There are, aren't there?
Chicks.
Destiny's Child.
There's that new supergroup, the High Women.
There it is.
I'm sorry,
That's
they're
what
not
it is.
Dixie
Randy
Chicks
Carlisle.
anymore.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
just the Chicks, I
The
think.
Chicks, yeah. No Dixie.
They dropped the
No,
Dixie.
oh, yeah.
yeah.
Rid of the
Like
Dixie.
Lady A and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh, Lady A. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Saying, you know.
But yeah, it was a great time. I really suggest everybody go see the Shins.
What's the best part of the show?
Just the music. And I was headbanging.
That's
the
saying something, honestly. The best part of the show is the music.
You were just
I
headbanging.
was headbanging.
Wow.
And then I was like,
Did they do the what is it? Like carrying is whatever.
carrying is it creepy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, man. They can't do a show without doing that song.
No, I mean, and Tammy got a shirt that said "Carrying is creepy."
Was she into it? Because I know she was not super into the album that they were going to perform the entire.
Her favorite album is I think the third and second album in that order. But a couple songs from the first, but they played her favorite song at the end.
Okay.
And so I'm glad they did that. And we
Redemption.
we didn't get that for Lupe Fiasco. He didn't play "Go Baby," and that was my favorite song of his.
Was it at Jexa or where was? Where
No,
was
it was
at?
at the factory.
Oh, the factory.
Bomb
Okay.
Factory.
Oh yeah.
Factory Bomb Factory.
That's a good.
It's
That's a
great
pretty good venue. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool. I'm like,
Just
can we-
another name that had to drop one of its pieces. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Just the
Bomb.
factory.
What?
Oh no, just the factory.
And now we're on a list.
Yep.
Right.
I
Again.
think we're already on the list.
Oh yeah.
After last night, Chad and I are definitely on a list.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about that? Go. What did you do this last week?
Court's
So
like, hold on. What?
I
so
might have to go.
Y'all didn't tell me about this.
y'all, if y'all say the words registry, I got to bounce.
yeah, we were so we got an invite. Not really an invite. We got told by the host of Fort Worth Famous, Susie. She said, "Hey, the Jerry Jonestown Massacre, which they are like the OG podcast of Fort Worth. They've been doing it for 9 years as of last night."
Yeah.
And she said, "Y'all need to go crash that." And we're like, "All right." So she tells Dustin that there's going to be people crashing. And he's like, "Well, I need to know so I can have some microphones." And she's like, "It could be 2 people. It could be 4. It could be 6." She just left it like very out there. So we got there right just like maybe a minute before, and we were hoping just to walk in and surprise them. Actually, Dustin comes out and fake racks a shotgun and says, "Get off my lawn,"
Yeah.
He's coming out. But it was so much fun. We got to finally sit down, and as we walk in the door, Andrew from Fort Worth Roots is there.
Yeah, Andrew was there. He didn't tell us.
Yeah.
We didn't tell him.
We didn't tell
had
him,
no
yeah.
idea. And I feel bad because I feel like we crashed his show because he was just as excited to be on the
Right,
Jerry
right,
Jonestown
right.
Massacre
He's
show.
He was invited.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
actually
invited.
He was supposed to be there.
And then we
We-
just crashed that shit.
We
You could
definitely
tell he
weren't.
was like upset, but then excited.
It's like-
damn it. But cool though, it's y'all.
He's like excited, and the I was going to say TFTI, the Jerry Jones boys were like seeing y'all. They're like, oh my!
It was so much fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all feeding, and you would think that 6 people on 6 different microphones with 6 different cameras is too much.
It's a little much.
I mean, it was a
but,
little much,
but
but it worked.
really, I don't think the conversation was that bad. There wasn't a whole lot of talking over. We tried to
We're all
be
professionals.
mindful. We've been doing it. We've been doing this for a little while now, 100 plus episodes now. So
Long enough to know that we, on the first 5 to 10 episodes, don't talk over each other. You know what I mean?
it's funny. So they're telling us about their first few episodes, and it's literally exactly what we did. They recorded several times in one night. They were drunk. Yeah,
Same story.
exact same story.
I feel like we're just them.
We're just
but-
leaching off their
but 7
Yeah.
years behind.
Yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah.
How many podcasts have you been on, Court?
Maybe a dozen or so.
Damn.
That's fine. I mean, most of them are like very, low key kind of. This is probably the most advanced production setup.
Okay.
that
What?
I've
Don't-
done.
Come on!
No, I mean like
just-
multiple people.
It's 'cause he had a
That's
sip of
like,
whiskey
It's not
is
just
what it
one
is.
I
person.
mean, nobody has a power morpher with a Doge on it.
Yeah. That's some fancy
Do
stuff.
I need to hold that up to the camera?
It makes noises and everything.
Get a close up of this, Mark.
The problem is now people see it, they're going to come steal it.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would not blame them.
So before that, we did the Here Fort Worth mixer,
Right.
which was awesome. We finally got to check out Union Station, which is Patrick's shop,
Junior's,
right?
yeah.
Downtown Fort Worth.
Man,
and
he does
so,
some cool stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He does.
man,
He's got some cool
I
shoes.
see
in
his
there.
shoes. I'm like, oh my god.
I get upset because they'll put the pre-sale out, but I didn't know I can just go to the store and pick up a pair.
yeah, they've got like
Yeah.
a decent amount. It looks like now, and he's got like the weed ones, the high tops.
Yeah.
Those looked really, really cool. And then he had like the pastel
Yeah,
colored ones
that's what
that
I
were
wanted
really
to
cool
get.
too.
Yeah.
Like Sydney
and then
from
some
Visit
red
Fort.
ones. Yeah.
I want the high tops.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, you're a high top boy.
Yeah, I'm a high top
Top
boy.
But then he had his own shorts and shirts and skateboards. Like just the vibe in the shop was really, really neat. And then of course everyone, all the musicians and all the people were there, which is always fun to hang out. Not all.
I got 3 kids, man. Yeah, it's
Look, I
it's rare
swear,
to get me out of the
get it.
house.
I swear his shoes are made in the same factory as Nike.
Probably.
They look identical.
Yeah.
So like, is it a jungle having 3 kids? I mean, I come from a big family.
I mean, yeah, it's a jungle for sure. Yeah, well, so my oldest is 5. She's like the responsible. She's like the third parent, basically.
yeah.
A middle child is the sensitive, 3-year-old. Like anything goes wrong, he's screaming, just half an hour of screaming,
Yeah.
and you're like, "What happened?" And he doesn't have words to tell you because he's so upset.
Yeah.
And then finally, he'll tell you, and you're like, "That's the dumbest shit I ever did. That is the absolute dumbest shit I ever
that was
did."
me.
Right? Yeah. No,
I knew immediately when he was talking
I'm
about
crying
this kid.
I made myself cry, and then I got a 4-month-old, and he's the easiest by far, but also the most hands-on because he can't do anything.
Well, congratulations. on
Well,
that.
just give him
4
give
months?
the 4-month one time, because as the youngest child, we tend to be the ones that really push the parents' buttons. So
Appreciate that. Thanks.
just giving you a heads up.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy because I have 7 brothers and sisters, and from my youngest sister, who just turned 16, there's a 20-year gap with us, so it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And she just, it was her quinceañera this past weekend.
You
Whoops.
missed that completely.
I completely forgot.
You were drunk.
Whoopsie.
I wasn't, because it was hot and I was sweaty in my underoos, and it was
I don't-
sweat all the
okay.
way
Just
out.
don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
I heard though that after 4 kids, it's basically like it's the same old.
It is.
Anything more than 4 is basically the same.
Yeah, it is. Well, because it's me and my older brother that were a part of my parents. My parents are split up, and they each had 3 other kids. But thankfully, they all get along together. So they're it's a
That's
good
good.
little meshing family.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's
Mexicans.
What's that movie where it's
Blended.
blended? Yeah.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch, right?
That too. Yeah, I watched a lot of that when I was growing up.
You lived it.
So tell me about you and your family. Like this is I don't know. I know we got a lot more to talk.
We haven't
about,
gotten to
but
group
Yeah,
updates
we
yet.
haven't even got
Yeah.
to
Put
the
me on the
individual,
back
like,
burner.
Yeah, how about we finish up our group updates real quick, because we got something coming on.
Your
8,
face?
yes, 8-9.
Okay.
Our show, August 9th, for promoting 817 Day. For we're gonna be doing that at Tulips. We're gonna have Grant on. We're gonna have Avery Burke. We've got Eric. I can't think of his last name. Webb from Cutthroat Finches. And then to top it off, we have Bency Jones. He's coming back on. He'll be a 2-timer for us on there. Bency's got a plan, and we're not gonna tell you.
Okay,
you're
good.
just gonna go
He's
with
gonna
it.
murder me on stage.
Yes, he is. But it's doors open at 7:00, and the show goes live at 8. You can also catch it on YouTube. But it's honestly going to be better if you just come out to Tulips, party with us. We're going to actually have merch. We'll have our hats there. You can physically come and pick some up from us. So it's going to be a good time.
Awesome.
Huzzah!
I think I covered everything.
Yeah, for the thing next week.
Yeah. So that's it, right? That's a group update.
Are you sure? You got any news, Tim?
I do have some news. I'm not used to going with news right after this because we usually have some sports stuff, but sports ain't sports right now. So
Training camp's going on, so that's all that matters. The World Cup's not until
All right.
November. So.
I'm going to apologize for what you're about to hear.
And now, it's time for news.
Oh, you don't do it,
With
you
Tim.
son of a bitch.
Take it away, Tim.
Take it away, Tim.
Thank you. I actually appreciate that. It was getting a little shrill for a while.
Yeah, I had to bring it back down.
All right, so we all know Tim Love, restaurateur here in Fort Worth.
I'm aware.
He's got a new restaurant.
He's your brother, right? Brother Tim's?
Yes, Tim's. All Tim's are related. If you didn't know that,
I did know that, actually, yeah.
He's got a new restaurant that he's opening up. I don't really care about the restaurant aspect itself, but what I do care about is the fact that he's got a rule. You got a cell phone, fuck you, get out.
I don't know
All right.
if that's
Well,
the rule.
all right.
Hold on.
Sounds
No
pretty
cell,
intense.
no
It's
cell.
very aggressive. I don't think that's the rule.
All right, you're probably right, but no cell phones allowed in the new Fort Worth restaurant. So he's opened up this restaurant, and it's kind of a neat idea because you should be I guess in the
Communicating,
moment,
present,
communicating,
yeah.
present right there. So I think that's the vibe he's going for. I've heard of some restaurants doing that where like their cups, literally you have to put your phone underneath the cup, or if you have the phone out, it's going to dump the cup over because it's cut away at the bottom. So various things like that. It's going to be in the historic Fort Worth Stockyards. I'm going to butcher this, Katarina's. It's bringing back the old days in a unique way, but they're banning cell phones. So if you go in there, you pull out your cell phone, they're going to kick you out, I think.
Interesting.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, you also have to wear a coat.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to have a full dress code,
Okay, so we're going like old school fancy.
yeah, which is one of the
At
only
Stockyards.
Oh yeah,
So jeans and a coat. Texas tuxedo, right?
Probably.
That's what we
I
call
would
it?
assume so.
Cowboy hat too.
Right.
cowboy hat, yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
top hat if you want.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No,
How many restaurants has Tim Love opened in the past like 2 years?
I mean we got
I feel
Gemelli,
like it's every
right?
couple of months he's opened something different.
Gemelli, Attico,
Yeah.
and then this one.
And the Mexican one in the Stockyards too.
Taco Bell. Hey, Court, what's your
I believe it's bueno.
Hey,
No, what is it? What is it?
I don't know. Oh,
Is it Dos Palomas or
so
something?
Paloma Suerte.
That's the one.
okay, before you start asking him questions, we still have a little bit more.
Hold on, wait. What's your favorite Tim Love restaurant?
Oh shit.
This is not a part of the questions we're going to ask you later, but I'm just asking. You know.
Can I like Google real quick? Because I've probably been to one and I don't know. Hold up.
When did he open Woodshed?
Oh, that was like 10 years
That
ago.
was like 10 years
was a
ago.
while
Because
back.
Lonesome
I'm gonna
Dove
start
was
naming them off,
first.
and
yeah.
then Lonesome Dove is in the Stockyards as well, which that's one of those. You got a good steaks, but
So
very
Tico,
fancy, right?
Lonesome Dove. So let's just talk Stockyards.
Yeah.
Because like he's got those two, and then Paloma Suerte.
He had Love
and then
Shack.
Katarina's, Love Shack. I think there's another one, right?
Lord.
And then he's got the new venue.
Oh yeah, that's
Tannehill.
there, Tannehill. So that's
Yeah.
6, and then he's got Gemelli, and then is that it?
Ooh, good lord.
Yeah, I think that's it.
a lot. You know what I mean?
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay, so the ones I've been to, which is not too many, probably Attico.
I haven't been there yet. How was it?
That's a rooftop
legit?
one, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's like tapas. Yeah, it was good.
It is a nice patio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
no,
all
no.
it's atmosphere for me. Like any chance no kids, it's gonna be a good time.
It's like you gotta splurge, right? Whenever you
Yeah. No, our usual date spot is it's Ellerby, which is like my favorite spot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fancy.
I gotta wait till a holiday so I get a gift card, and then
Nice.
there we go.
That's smart. That place is expensive.
Yeah, the gift card covers the wine.
Holy yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So just to finish off our news, yeah.
Whoops.
I know.
talking to me.
You start
Javier
getting
is
into
the
it,
worst.
but I want to go into this real quick. Of course, it's going to be in Florida. Florida is allowing veterans without degrees to teach, and I don't foresee anything wrong going with that. Do you?
Where at?
Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I've got this little TikTok that came up, and I'm just going to play it for you. So
Florida man.
this is his response to teaching, by the way.
What's up, little bastards? My name is Blake. I'm here to teach you about school shit, I guess. If I'm being honest, just here for a paycheck, so just don't be a shitbag. It's like my only rule. Smoke them if you got them. Probably don't, because you're all like 5, but whatever. Dip, you can do that. I'll be doing it. Food, I don't give a shit. Snack when you want. Speaking of food, what time's chow? When does that... Anybody? No one knows? Alright, I'll get with principal, I guess. Fuck it. So what do y'all like learn here? Do y'all know anything? No, you're just a bunch of mouth breathers, aren't you? You're just looking at me. You're drooling. Fucking weirdo. Get your finger out of your nose, you fucking thing. Here's something we can't teach. Anybody here want to learn how to clear rooms?
So I mean, that's how I foresee that going very well. I mean, it's typical Florida. It's typical Florida. But yeah, that's it.
Are they running out of teachers? Is that the deal?
There's
There's
a
prices everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona did the same thing. I think they got like you can teach without a degree if you're in school to get your master's in education or something like that.
Yeah.
But-
like student teachers.
Yeah, Fort Worth
But
is.
real
They went
teachers.
from they said it's an emergency to now a catastrophe is what they're calling it.
You know, I remember being in high school and they had student teachers that were going to school to get their degree, but still like trying to get credit. And I was like, man, that teacher's hot.
Yeah, I
I wonder
remember.
how old she is.
I also remember Chip Uribe's brother.
Don't look at me when you say that. I'm not going to give you the nod. No, that's not happening, man.
What was it?
Javier's just looking for validation.
Come on.
Obviously,
You
man.
know you saw it. Who? Daniel Uribe?
He got fired because he let a fight happen and he just walked out of the classroom or something like that.
Fuck it. I don't blame him.
Fuck these kids.
They don't pay me enough.
Yeah, my sister-in-law's a teacher, and God bless her. God bless those kids. And so's my stepmom.
I don't think. I mean, teachers obviously aren't paid what they need to be paid, and it's a lot of work and a lot of hours. And
Conditions in the school are just terrible, man.
Absolutely.
Dude, they make them like so. You have to supply your own stuff,
gun?
right? Your own stuff to the classroom.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you see these teachers, they're posting their Amazon wish lists,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's that time of year where I beg for the things that I should be given by the
Exactly.
friggin' school system.
That's
I've
wild,
seen
right?
a lot of those.
It's like Mexico that you have to pay for your schooling over there.
You got what? You have to pay for
your
it?
schooling. Yeah.
Oh, well, I have to pay for everybody's school. And I pay taxes here.
I don't think they pay a lot of taxes in Mexico.
Yeah, well, they don't. I pay
They
a lot
do,
of taxes here,
but
though.
you think the cartel's going to pay their taxes?
Nah,
Property
probably not.
taxes are high enough that they should be fixing my fucking water for me.
Absolutely.
Bingo.
Right.
But I called the city. I was like, listen, this happened under the city sidewalk. I'm pretty sure this is your fault. I need you to take care of it. And they were like, we'll send a team out. And they left a note on the door. We were like, not our problem.
Motherfuckers.
That's basically, they checked a box that says not our problem.
we had a guy push air through, and it seems like it's closer to your side than our side.
Yeah, they were basically just like, it's on your side of the meter. And I was like, it's under your fucking sidewalk, man. Like,
Dang.
What a bunch of... Is it over there in Magnolia?
no, we're in Arlington Heights.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, yeah.
They got a lot of
We got in cheap, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Arlington Heights in general. They've had some issues with like the ground shifting
Oh,
and
and the
all.
flooding.
Yeah.
The flooding in the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
I moved into the street that floods. I had no idea. No one told me. I'm on like the high side of the street, so it doesn't come in the house. But
That wasn't
all over the
in the disclosure. You
they
know.
don't have to disclose it because
Oh,
the house
man.
didn't actually flood.
Like your house turns into an island multiple times a year.
Yeah. Well, cars drive by because they don't give
Boats.
a shit.
You
Like
mean
in their
boats.
trucks. Yeah, they drive by and it's like the wake comes and it like splashes up on your front steps and you're like, this is kind of entertaining. Actually, I don't know. I could I'm okay with.
All right, kids, we brought the ocean.
Yeah. No, you see a neighbor with a kayak out there. I'm like, are you here to rescue or are you just having fun? Like, I don't know what's going on.
A little bit of both. All right, that was news with Tim. So thank you.
Well done, Tim. Way to wrangle in them cats.
If I could
Yeah.
put some in the suggestion box, I think you should do the weird voice again.
Okay. I
Right,
appreciate
right now.
Wait, hang on. You ready? What you're gonna do? And that was
Things
news.
we do for our
And-
illustrious guests here on the Funky Panther.
and
I'm not
that's
there yet. Let me get there.
and
Damn.
that was news. You're gonna say that, okay? You
No,
ready?
I'm going to say the initial one.
And now it's time for news with Tim. Don't say a fucking thing, Tim. We're done.
Okay, so yeah, you should do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Yeah.
That's what
Is
I'm
that the
hearing.
voice?
It's a wizard or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. He is going for that wizard voice, and I've told them like we need to stop that voice. And every time I say that, we actually get flooded.
Yeah.
No joke. We get tons of like messages like, "Don't do it."
Bring the fucking voice back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got to give the people what they want.
I don't know. I think
It's a
that
skill,
it's really
man.
it's
It's a
painful.
skill.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it?
We all suffer for our art.
Absolutely.
Well,
And that's Chad's heart.
being a wizard.
More like fart.
All right, so
yours are your jokes. They're
Javier,
so
you want
good.
to go ahead and say your thing?
You already know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Funky Town. Nothing but illustrious guests here in the Funky Panther, #1 podcast here in Fort Worth. You already know what it is. Our guest today, the one, the only, Court Hoang. Kurt. Fuck! Kurt!
I get it all
Run
the
it
time.
back.
It's good, man.
Court. How you doing, bud?
Hoang.
Thanks for... Give me the kids. Give me the kids. Give me the kids.
You didn't do anything to deserve them. Is this for court?
Is this for
This
court?
is not for you.
Explosion
Okay, that's for
sound
you.
Any dance hall horns? Meow, 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 meow.
I don't have.
You already know what it is, baby. Court Hoang here today with us here at the Funky Panther. How are you doing today, Court?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Awesome, man. I love your voice.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a really good fucking voice.
Thanks. Yeah, I get that a lot.
We're gonna deep dive.
Would you
into
say
your-
that's why he's a singer?
Yes. That's why he's a singer, but he should be an animated voiceover.
Because the man's got a good voice.
Yeah, he does.
heard
It's
that.
an amazing voice.
All right, let's just shut up. So something we like to do every time we have a guest on the show,
Illustrious guest.
a little something we call the Funky Five, where we ask you 5 semi-rapid fire questions.
Illustrious.
Something it's all about you, right? So it should be pretty easy. We're not asking you like math questions or anything nutty. You
I
know
used
what I
to
mean?
teach math. So
Okay,
I mean,
well, I guess we
Really?
should have asked math questions then. Fuck me, right? All right, let's get into it. Question number 1. What is your favorite Fort Worth restaurant?
Ellery.
Ellerby. Yeah, I mean, you
Ellery Fine
you
Foods.
said that one, yeah.
If I could afford it, I'd go there
Absolutely.
more than once a year.
All right, what's your meal? You have like a meal?
I think I have like a seasonal menu, but the thing that I have loved the most was a tea brined pheasant.
Ooh.
It was like unreal.
I like pheasants.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Nice.
Peasants. I mean, I like peasants.
I like eating
he
Back
says
to Dungeons and
pheasants.
Dragons, I think.
Can I have some more mead?
No.
All right, favorite Fort Worth drinking spot?
Uh,
The Funky Panther Studio.
yeah, I mean, honestly. I drink a lot.
because it's
I
free.
mostly drink at home. Yeah, but let's see. My wife and I, we used to like to go to the Usual a lot. What's the one downtown that's like it's like a library? It's
Thompson's,
Thompson's.
Yeah.
That one's pretty dope.
I think they're redoing
It's
it.
cool. I like anything classy because I
Yeah.
like to pretend that I'm classy.
Right.
And I like to go in and have like all the older white people just
We're
kinda
going
look
to
at me
Ellerby
like,
and Thompson's because
what are you
it's
doing
been
here,
once
young
a
man?
year.
You know, kind of a, I like to get that look from people.
So the kitchen is in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
god! I
Yeah, no,
get that a lot.
I get that too. Yeah.
Actually, I've actually gotten that at a bar once, and they're like, "All right, get me 2 drinks and a shot."
Oh yeah.
And this is with
You
one
ever wear a
of the,
red shirt in Target?
yes,
Yeah.
or a blue shirt at Best Buy.
Right.
Oh man, they get at you.
Yeah.
You should just do that now.
Anyone with a beard's got to be a tech guy,
Right? Yeah. You're a nerd. Yeah. Let me help me out. How do I connect this here doohickey to the Dondalinger?
All right, question number 3. What is your favorite local musician? You can pick a top few or
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
say
So,
yourself.
I mean, strictly based so combination of music, performance, and like persona, I guess, would probably be Avery Burke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no joke. Just
She
like,
is coming up.
I watch her and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you are just everything. It's
She's just
incredible.
Essence's energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you-
and then like
Have you had a conversation with her?
No, I've never met. I met her once at like an Amplify 817 thing, and I was like too shy to like talk to anyone. I was just like, I'm just gonna be here and like meet some people. And it didn't really pan out that way. I met a lot of librarians. I didn't meet like any musicians. The librarians are super chatty though, and
Yeah.
that was great, you know. Yeah, so I met Avery like right at the end, and she was just like super sweet. She was like, "You should just take some like stickers and stuff." And I was like, "I guess, yeah, I got kids. I'll take stickers for my kids or something. I don't know. Like, what do I say to you?"
You didn't
but yeah,
give any to your kids, though, did you? You kept all the stickers.
I kept and the Fort Worth pencils
course,
and the
of course.
library pencils and
Of course.
everything. Yeah, I'm all about merch. Shout out to Amplify 817. by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Huge fan. Yeah, but no, she's just one of those people that like you look at and you're like, you already are exuding that sort of rock star, pop star persona to the point where like it's just a matter of time before you get the recognition for it. You know,
Yeah.
she's
Right.
already doing it, and it's just incredible to watch like how she continues to grow and get more and more respect and more encouragement and more support from the community while she does it. It's just amazing to see. Yeah.
And again, she's just very kind.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you meet her once and that's it. And
Yeah.
then she'll come up to you and give you a big hug.
You've made a friend for life.
You have, absolutely. When you're there, you're family.
All right. So
No,
moving
that's
on.
2 weeks in a row we've had Avery
Yeah.
talked about on
I
the
know.
show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Smooth
she
Vega,
really is-
like a
Keep an
adores
eye
her.
out. I'm telling you. man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, sure, you're right. Her show presence is crazy. Like we got to see her at South by, and it was just crazy.
And the
You mentioned
skills, man. She's
she
got the
crowd
skills.
surfed.
Crowd surfed. Yeah.
Man,
A skill's got to be a given, right? But when you've
Yeah.
got the skills and the stage presence and that persona, it's just like I said, it's just a matter of time.
the trifecta.
Now, do you listen to podcasts other than like? I mean, I know you've checked us out.
I listen to one podcast.
Okay.
It's called Kid Short Stories. And I listen to it all the fucking time.
So that's your favorite podcast, is what you're telling us.
It's 1 out of 1.
It's a podcast he listens to.
I always research podcasts when I go on for interviews, so I'll
Yeah.
listen to back episodes and things like that. And most of them, I'm kind of like, "Meh, this is fine. This will be okay. Listening to y'all talk is like much more interesting because you've got 3 people. You're all very engaging personalities. You have very distinct voices, which helps because I'm never like, which one is that? Are they talking to is he talking to himself? Because I do that sometimes. You know?
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So we've known each other for like Chad and I have known each other for like 30 years, and Javier came in a little bit later, so about
Gross.
about 20.
Came in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nope. Is any-
there's a
I mean,
dynamic.
Immediate disgust. Did you see? Like I knew that was I knew that was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I stared at Court's face, like, what is he gonna do? And his face just was like, why?
Yes.
What is wrong with you?
There's a lot of times that people
disgust.
we all ask why.
That was the fastest.
So now the last question. I'm gonna paint a picture for you. Okay.
Okay.
So imagine life without kids. Whenever you had no children, and this was before streaming services. So you sat down and you're like, I'm gonna flip through the channels, see what's on. What is the one movie that it doesn't matter where it's at, any time in the movie, you're gonna sit down and you're like, yep, this is what I'm doing. What movie is that?
It's going to be a Keanu movie. So probably either Speed or Matrix, the first Matrix.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say Bill and Ted's, and I was like, yes.
I mean, absolutely. But that one never came on TV.
I know.
What was the one where he shoots in the air? That one's on the TV.
Point Break.
Yeah, that one was.
Point Break.
Oh,
was a
okay.
good one.
He has a really good catalog of movies.
He does.
He's just a good guy.
His
I don't know-
early-
I don't
his-
know anything about him, but
He is. Have you ever seen him take pictures? Like especially with women, he doesn't touch them. So he doesn't want to like.
What?
No, there's a
This is how you identify him as a good
No,
man.
no, no. So
he
there's-
doesn't even touch the women.
there's a reason behind it though. So like you'll see him, and now if you look, he's got his hands back like this
doing the hover hand.
And he does the hover hands.
like I did in middle school.
Right.
because he doesn't want to be like he doesn't ever want to have that like accusation happen. He
Well, no,
doesn't,
that makes
you know,
sense. That's just
like
being
using that
smart.
position of
He's being
power.
smart, but he also he like takes public transportation and does normal dude stuff and just goes about his life without being that like big-headed.
I feel like he didn't let celebrity
Right.
change who he is.
He's
you know?
he's still
Well said, Court. I think that he did a really good job of
Listen, man, if y'all have an opening,
explaining
you just
what you were trying to
Shut
get
up.
across for 5 minutes.
He knows about like
Do you know he
mixers
didn't
and
even-
audio.
He didn't even touch women. You know what I mean? He's a great guy.
he's still
He rides public transportation.
he's still Bill, right? He was he Bill? Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, Ted was the blonde.
Yeah, he's still Bill. He stayed Bill the entire time. John Wick is just Bill grown up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. Thank God. Jesus.
Hey, but you did it. You got through the Funky Five.
Hey, well done, sir.
I'll drink to that.
Sure.
So let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us, where are you from?
So I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Raised mostly in Dallas. And then I went to school in Southern California. And then I went and lived in Vietnam for a year. And then I came back to Texas. I moved to Austin. And that's where I started doing music professionally. Did that until I met my wife. And then she and I moved up to North Texas again back in like 2013. I had to get like a regular day job.
Yeah.
That was not my fave. Not lit, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And then
Is that
started
from your 5-year-old?
started trying to get what's up.
Is that from your 5-year-old? Or?
Yeah, no, she's about as she's hip to the lingo, I'm sure. But let's see, I started doing music again in like 2016. Put a band together in 2018, and then I've just been kind of playing here and there when I can, in between babies for the most part. So we're done having kids now. So my wife was like, "Okay, now you can go start playing more
the
shows,
music
and start
thing."
doing tours and stuff again." And I was like, "That's great, cool." So I don't miss being a working musician. I'm happy to have a day job because that means I get to do things I actually want to do with music. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to like play all of the cover gigs that are 4 hours in the 100-degree heat for, $150 or
It's a
whatever.
business too, right? Like you got to
It is.
do your marketing, your social media, and then you also got to make the music.
You got to
and
do
gotta
that anyway.
the music.
You
And,
know what I mean? Like
know.
you got to do that just to get anyone to see what you do now on
Right.
social media. Because like if you're not, then social media is just like, you don't exist.
Yeah.
You're not a person unless you give us $50, and then we'll show your shit to people.
That's so true.
You
Because
can't even
Thanks.
take a couple of
Appreciate
weeks
that.
off, and you're just gone. You disappear.
Yeah.
Out of the algorithm.
No, yeah, I released this album. I went on tour. I came back and I was like, I'm gonna take a little break. I came back and I was like, no one's here anymore. It's not good. I know.
Well,
how do you know one's listening?
that you answered my next question was, are you a Fort Worth native? But so you're not a Fort Worth native, but you said you spent time in Vietnam. So how long were you there?
Yeah, so I was there for a year.
Uh-huh.
This was sort of a post college. I always assumed I was going to go to grad school and be like a math teacher, math professor, something like that, when I left college. So I was like, this is kind of last chance I'll have to do any sort of like abroad living. My father's Vietnamese, so I'd like to get in touch with that side of my culture and history and everything. So I took like a teaching fellowship over there, and I was teaching English, and I was learning Vietnamese. I didn't know any Vietnamese when I came. I was in this rural village, and I sort of accidentally became like a pop star. It was the weirdest thing.
Wait, what?
So,
You say
okay.
accidentally became a pop
Did they
star?
make you join a boy band?
Basically, yeah.
Nice.
So there's a term called hot boy that they use, and basically what it means is, you know, that you're metrosexual. That's not a term that we use anymore. I don't know if it's politically correct or not, but that's basically, they were just like, you know, you're gonna wear pastel button downs and leave like 3 buttons open. You're gonna have like the thinnest, shortest 1 millimeter beard, and then like the, you know, short hair, like gelled and slicked up, like basically like boy band style.
Yeah.
But in 2011, that's just metrosexual. You know, it's like there's no boy bands anymore. So, but of course, everyone in Vietnam, they love all the K-pop and the J-pop and all of these, you know. So they, my students were like, okay, we want you to learn some Vietnamese songs, like some folk songs or something like that. And I was like, that'd be really cool. I'd love to learn Vietnamese music. I ended up recording an album of these sort of folk songs and pop songs in Vietnamese. And there was, they call it a camping festival. It's like a school festival for this school, and they had one, and they said, you need to perform on the stage and, you know, play guitar and sing. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then they said, hey, do you want to do it again? And I was like, yeah, okay. What I didn't realize is that this next one was not just for the school, but for like the district. So instead of like 500 people, it was like 6,000 people that were here.
Wow.
At this thing.
That's a show.
So they put me on the stage, and they're like, okay, you're going to play like Dance Monkey Dance. And I was like, this feels weird, but it's fine. It's fun. And then, you know, some people saw me there, and they said, oh, we want you to do this other event like in Hanoi, like in the city, again, for like these like kind of college-aged students. And I'm 23 at the time. So I'm like, you know, it was kind of like what you were saying with like, your students are very close in age. Some of them were older. And I was like, this feels very inappropriate. But they had me come out and do this thing in 4 quarters in the round, like in a coliseum, basically, you know. And I'm in this, I'm at the bottom of this, like a coliseum, and there's like rows and rows and rows of like students from all over the provinces and the neighboring provinces. And it was like on TV and shit like that. And they were like, yeah, you're gonna like play and you're gonna sing. And I was like, okay, this is fine.
You're getting paid.
And they were like,
right? Like for all
none of this was paid.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of it, they were like, okay, basically we're going to sign you a record deal. So we're going to record you to do all this stuff, and, you know, we'll put it out and we'll just see what happens. And I was like, I'm not going to live here. And they were like, well, you can decide, you know, like when you get to the end of this year of teaching, you could decide whether, you know, and if I had stayed, like they would have just put me in the business. And I ultimately decided I was going to come back just, you know, for my immediate family and things like that. But that was kind of what inspired me. I was just like, okay, maybe I need to be doing music.
Couldn't cut the hot boy life.
Honestly, this is going to sound like a total cop-out, but it was too easy. It was like, you can live on so little. And like, as a mixed race Vietnamese white person, like I'm considered very attractive to Vietnamese people. I was just like, and I'm used to being like, you know, the fat, ugly kid in school that like no one likes because he's nerdy, you know. And I was like, I'm getting way too much attention, and I'm not comfortable with it, and I don't like any of this, and like this just feels weird, and I feel like I'm gonna get taken advantage of if I continue to let these people kind of flatter me this way. And it's not these people like Vietnamese people; it's just people in
general,
in the music industry,
Right,
Yeah.
we get you.
specifically. So there were a lot of sort of moments where I was like, I could just do it, and I could just live for cheap and like have a nice little apartment, a house, and like
Be
you know.
famous, maybe be in a movie
So
or two.
what you're
right?
saying
Yeah.
is like,
They like brought me out to like theater shows and like trying to like woo me and stuff
That's
like that. You're like,
crazy.
I was like, I don't understand what anyone's saying. They're like, yeah, but look at the costumes, beautiful. And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Good
so
Lord.
what you're saying is we could have seen, like, had you stayed, and this year we probably would have had a reality TV show that had come out.
I'd be a Vietnamese
from
export.
Vietnam, yeah.
I'd be an
Yeah.
export, you know. No, I don't know what would have happened, but
Is there any videos or trailers made back in the day of you? Like, I feel like that would be something I'd like to see.
I would love to see that.
Now I want
Yeah.
to
So-
deep dive.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that you could find at least some videos of me performing on the internet. But
Did you have a hot boy name, or was it just Court?
It was just Court Hoang, yeah.
Nice.
Because like Court was like unique because it's not Vietnamese, so
right.
they're like Court. But Hoang is a very common Vietnamese name. And they're like, oh, okay.
He's a little
so it's
bit of
like
everything.
he's exotic. Very strange. Yeah, it was really, it was really
It'd be
weird.
funny if like you're at a Coliseum and they're like, "Hey, also the president is here. The president of Vietnam." So
No, yeah, and I'm sure there were like public figures that were there, and they were just like, "You
Heads
need
of
to meet
state.
these people," and I was like, "That's cool." Well, I did it through the Department of State with the U.S. It was a Fulbright that I did, and so like I had to go like do the training at the embassy and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I met the American ambassador to Vietnam, and he's this like big old fat white guy from Wisconsin. He, like, you know, looked like he'd never taken a day off of cheese in his life, you know, kind of thing.
Beer and cheese, baby. Beer and cheese.
And no,
It's like, would you like some cheese curds?
It's about as friendly as they get. He was like, "Man, I gotta tell you, life is good here." And I was like, "I believe it. I do believe it." You know.
So do you like the Packers?
Yeah. No, it was like very like the heavy Midwestern accent. And I was
Wow.
just like, "This can't be real life.
That's wild to hear that. Like you could have been seriously like what's his name? What's that guy that did Gangnam Style?
like
Psy, yeah.
Psy. You could have been like you were saying an export and just
Yeah.
reverted it into like
Dude had one song. He had one song.
That's all you need, man."
Does Vietnam have
We
like?
still talk about him. Here we are. 10,
Do they have
15 years
V-pop?
later.
V-pop.
Is that a thing?
Kind of. So the thing about Vietnamese, it's a tonal language,
Right.
which means that the singing, the melodies are like a little strange to non-tonal language speakers. So when you listen to Vietnamese, it sounds like you know, like it's got a weird tone to
Right.
it that like most Western audiences aren't into, and like Japanese and Koreans, I mean, like the languages are not tonal in the same way. So the music, it doesn't translate quite as well.
Right,
And actually,
okay.
a lot of traditional Vietnamese music was written so that the melody followed the tones. So when it's a rising tone, the melody goes up. So a lot of those older folk songs, they have that, and that was actually helpful for me learning, because I was like, oh, I can remember which way the accent goes because the melody goes this way. You know. So
that makes so much sense.
Did you you were there for a year. You were of age and you had this life where you're like out partying and having like that club life. You're like, yeah, I'm a superstar. I'm this guy.
I mean, keep in mind, I lived in a village,
Okay.
but yes,
Nice.
basically.
I went to the
So,
bar.
yeah, no, well, and like, you know, or you'd go to the bar like in the town, you know, next to the village. The village
Right.
is sort of bordering the town, because I lived, my little apartment was like surrounded on three sides by like flower fields, like farmers, you know. So I would walk to the market at 5 a.m, and I would get my food for the day, because I didn't have a fridge. So you get your food for the day, you cook it, you eat it, or you throw it away because you don't have a fridge. You know, and there's no hot water in the shower and all this kind of, you know, all the classic things that you would sort of imagine. But there's a pool hall where you play, you know, billiards. And I spent a lot of my free time there just because I didn't speak very much Vietnamese when I got there. And that's pretty much how I made most of my friends, was like through coffee shops and through playing pool. And I ended up making friends with, you know, some of the, like, I guess, higher ups in the village, just because, you know, they take interest. And I went over to this this one guy. He owned a goat restaurant. Like, they served goat. That was like what they served, and it was incredible. But he would always have these parties late at night, and they would just shots of the rice wine and everything. And they'd come over, and someone would come over with a guitar and say, "Hey, play us a song," you know. And they wanted like a Beatles song or like a Michael Jackson song or, you know, some like Irish boy band that I'd never heard of or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'll do, you know. But yeah, and then we go do karaoke, and they just bring cases of Heineken, just, you know, cases after cases, and you're just like,
That sounds like the life.
Yeah, it does. Was there anything like food-wise that you missed, or something that you're just like can't get when you're here, or you've not been able to match since you've been over there?
yeah, probably not things that are like appealing to Western audiences, but like honestly, the most like conflicted I've ever felt was eating cat, because I was like, I love cats. I'm not really into eating pets, domesticated animals, except for, you know, the ones traditionally raised in the U.S. But it was so fucking good. It was so. I took a bite, and I was like in tears almost. I was like, I'm never gonna eat this again. I know I'm never gonna eat it again because I can't. But it's. I was like, I have to try it at least once, and it's so good.
I'm waiting on a text from my girlfriend.
That's
to see.
interesting.
I'm waiting on a text from my mom. Being like, you did what?
There was a
Did you have the goose, or is it the goose or the duck?
duck
egg?
egg?
The duck egg, yeah.
With the little embryo
I
inside.
can't. I would love to try.
I've been
It's
wanting
actually
to try
not
it.
that weird.
cat and things like that. I don't know. We've got a friend.
Yeah,
and
our
her
friend
family
Holly.
is extremely traditional, and like we went to like they had a Cowboys game, and we're all just like eating normal food, you know, our food, and then
Western
he's
food,
He's
yeah.
over there just like
But
put
granted,
that thing,
okay.
like above him and just like into his mouth.
So her dad,
and I almost threw up.
Her
Like, I
dad
just
likes
can't-
the very
gooey.
no. He wants it like like developed. Like Holly even says it's a little bit much for her.
Right.
Oh,
like
yeah.
third trimester kind
Yeah,
of.
like this thing's like straight up. It is a duck that's still like. It's a duck. It's ready to be born kind of thing.
Right.
Versus she likes it to be more underdeveloped, which
Right.
And basically what that results in is just a richer yolk, right? Because it's like there's a little more protein, a little more, in it.
Yeah.
For me personally, most of the sort of like weird things aren't really that weird when you actually try them in terms of like the flavor. It's just the idea. It's a mental thing, right?
I'll tell you what, it's like if they, for example, like when I was growing up, I'd eat a lot of beef tongue. And as soon as my mom would tell me what it was, I'm like, I don't
like
want to eat
tripe,
anymore.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tripe. Like, and you don't realize, like, if you don't know, then if you're ignorant about it,
Right.
then
It's just
It's
lingua,
fine.
Yeah.
if it's cooked right, it's
Absolutely.
good. That's the thing. I think anything, if it's cooked right, it's going to be good, right? But I still haven't tried calf fries.
I love
I
it.
still haven't done it. We need to go to Riata. What, are they open still, or are they closed yet?
No, they're still.
They're still, we should go to Riata and do that. I would try it. I just never. I don't know. There's something about it. I'm just like, man.
I don't know, like the thought, like a cat, things like calf fries, things like that. I don't mind the thought so much. It's like the actual seeing, like this
like the
gooey
sensate,
baby
yeah.
duck.
Yeah,
Just like I just
yeah.
couldn't do it. Now when she explained, like Tim mentioned, like there's like underdeveloped. It's like okay, maybe I could give that a go. But like her dad, I was like, no, thank
They
you.
like put like a soy sauce or something. I mean, they dip
Like
it
a
in
dark
something,
soy
right?
sauce,
Yeah.
you dip it, yeah. And I mean, like, we can get as graphic as y'all want to, but
I think we're good there.
Yeah.
I think
I've
we've
tried.
done.
I tried
we
so
did.
many things that I was like, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this.
well, you can find horse here in Fort Worth.
Can't what?
Yep.
Yeah, you can find horse meat.
Where? I thought it was illegal in
You gotta ask the right person. But
No,
Oh God.
but no, you can find anything
Yeah.
if you look hard enough.
I mean, I've been
it's-
wanting to try horse, to be honest with you.
I haven't had it, but
I've heard it's good.
I've had
I had
brain.
donkey.
I've had cow brain.
I don't
I've
like
had,
that.
No,
No. I don't
You
like
had
I don't like
barbacoa?
brains. I've had barbacoa is okay, but I mean,
I ate an eye from
Yeah.
and I found an eye in my barbacoa, and I just like, whatever. I ate it.
I'm more of a
Deal. It's everybody has their own
Kidneys?
type of food
Kidneys
that
are
you're
good.
not used to, and that's
Right.
fine.
Heart. I
But,
like heart.
mean,
or like you eat the fish heads at like the Chinese restaurant. You know,
Yeah,
they cook
yeah.
the whole fish, and my dad's like, the eye's the best part. I'm like,
I've heard the cheek
you
is
take
really
it.
good
It's
too.
Yeah.
yours if you want it, man.
You got it. It's all yours.
So you're in Vietnam for a year, and you come back.
Come back, move to Austin because at the time, the place to be for live music.
Absolutely.
I don't feel that way about it anymore, sadly. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm glad to be in Fort Worth because I feel like Fort Worth is, it's what Austin was at one point, and I feel like it's headed in a direction that is not going towards what Austin is now, and I'm very happy about that. And I also like being in a city that's large but also accessible enough to like get involved in your community. Once I'm out of the newborn phase of life, so in terms of like political activism, in terms of social change, things like that, but also in terms of just shaping culture and the way that we experience culture as a community. And one of the things that I love about especially Amplify is that they're so inclusive of all these different types of music
100%.
and all these different types of people that make this music, and it's not specifically like, it's not red dirt and it's not, just country, or it's not just rap, hip hop, it's not just EDM. It's like, it's a mix of all of it,
Would you say our identity is ambiguous when it comes to stuff like that?
I would say, I think there's an argument to be made that it's just undecided. But I also feel like the reality is that it was decided a long time ago, and now it's starting to change. Because
I agree with
it
that.
was
Yeah.
solidly,
Yeah.
it was solidly one thing.
Yeah.
And now we're just seeing a little more diversity coming in because it can live here and it can actually thrive here. And when you create an environment where where all these different types of cultures and all these different types of cultural representations can live together, that's when you start to see really amazing things happening. Like you've seen some of the collaborations with like the Clyburn doing stuff with was it Lou?
Daniel
Yeah.
Susan,
Yeah.
Lou and Avery, yeah.
And like, holy shit, man! Like you don't see that.
No.
Like you never see that. And I just think it's a beautiful thing to be able to witness and to be a part of. At this time.
I'm ready for Billy Bob's to get on board.
Well, yeah, because Smooth Vega was telling us that he was trying to. I don't know. Did he say it was?
I don't remember if it was on air.
I don't know either, but
Y'all talking about Snoop?
So,
yeah, it was on air.
Yeah.
Okay, so like how he was talking about that and how they were like, well, but I think I think it's already time to be past that.
It is. I mean, I get it. Like Billy Bob's has got a reputation and everything, but their reputation's not. It's not inclusive. It's very much like this is what we do.
If it's one Saturday night, then it's not.
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam, that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 100%, but it doesn't have to be like 20% either. It could be like 90% what you're used to, and then 10% like throw some other stuff in there.
Right.
Because you're getting this whole other crowd, this whole other part of the business that you're just like completely losing because people, we don't ever we don't go to the stockyards very often.
No.
If we do, it's definitely not Billy Bob's.
I mean, here a lot lately we have been going to the stockyard. Well, we went to Billy Bob's for a wrestling.
We went to go see Stone Cold Steve Austin,
yeah.
and we went to go see Abel from Squeezebox Bandits,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Like that's what we went to go do.
But like Abel fits that bill. That's the thing. Squeezebox
Like
is
that Tejano category.
Yeah,
It fits.
Yeah. And Billy Bob's has had actually big Tejano bands come through, but they're just like it kind of cuts off at like. Well, they're not going to have any hip hop. That's just not going to happen.
No, I think that is the
that is the.
And it's because you can dance similarly to Tejano than you can like your
country.
country
Yeah,
music,
yeah,
and people
yeah.
are like, "Well, I could still dance to this. I'm
Yeah.
fine." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. So you are in Austin. You finally make it back up to North Texas, and you've been in Fort Worth since you said 2016,
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you've been here long enough. You obviously know the city.
I
and
get
things
it.
like that.
Yeah, I get it. I'm glad to be here too. Like I said, I've been to a lot of places, and I've done music in a lot of places, and I've worked in various industries, sort of adjacent to music, and the hardest thing about Fort Worth is that it is still very much like a handshake community. I got to go out and meet you, and I got 3 babies, so like I'm not going out and I'm not shaking too many hands right now. So a lot of the connections I make right now are online, and it's harder to do here because I don't think people gatekeep on purpose. But I think, if I can look you in the eye and I can shake your hand, then I'm more likely to trust you and I'm more likely to want to work with you. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of how it is. It feels a little bit, like the old boys club still.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
I think it has advantages and disadvantages,
Okay.
Yeah. To me right now it's a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
In general, I think it encourages people to get together.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge, and I think that's good. But I also think that that's not possible for everyone.
Right.
True.
So technology being, a two-edged sword, if we can use it to bring more people together, then I think we should. And, it doesn't have to preclude us from bringing people together in person either.
Which is also like shout out to Tom over at Here Fort Worth for the mixers that they've been putting together here in the past couple of months, because that's another reason to go to meet other artists and other people in the industry. Yeah. So it's a really good thing that they're doing. Compass Rose, whenever you put that album out, was that here or in Austin?
That was recorded in Austin and released right around the time I was moving. I wasn't expecting to move.
Wow.
It was like a job offer came in, and I was like, I got to fucking take this job. I don't want to take this job, but I got to do it. And I was like, I had just gone full-time with music in Austin. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm making it. I'm going to be the next, whoever it was at the time.
Who was it? Who was it? Who did you want to be?
What is his name?
Was it B.O.B.? No.
No, I know his. I remember his Shaky Graves. That's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So sorry. So I had he had just started coming up in the scene, and I was watching him perform. He was doing the one-man band thing, and I was like, that's kind of what I do. I wasn't really working with a band at that time, but I was starting to get to a point where I was like, oh, maybe I could start bringing other musicians into here. I had studio musicians I worked with, and I played bass in a few bands and stuff like that. But I saw him, and I was just like, okay, yeah, no, this is doable. If you you can be weird here. You can do things that are not totally in the mainstream, of whatever genre it is you do. So that was very inspiring, and he's continued to amaze me with the things he puts out.
Everything.
I'm seeing the work, and I'm just like, man, you don't give a fuck, do you, man? You just do what you want to do, and it's amazing. It's so good to see that.
He's a big fan of the show, so you're telling him directly, I'm sure. So.
Well, okay. So what genre would you classify your music though?
My music, it's folk, rock, pop kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's indie rock, when it's me and just the 3-piece band, just the power trio kind of a thing, it's indie rock. And then if it's just me and a guitar, it's very folky, and it's very like singer-songwritery and kind of sad boy acoustic kind of stuff. And then when I'm able to put on bigger shows with more of the like orchestral elements like the strings and the woodwinds and stuff like that, then it becomes sort of orc pop kind of chamber pop kind of stuff. I don't know what they call it anymore, but like Rufus Wainwright is he's an idol of mine as well. And I'm like, my goal one day is to tour with an orchestra. Like I'll bring them all with me, like Amanda Palmer style, just like let them crash on people's sofas or whatever. And I love the idea of being able to do that with kind of more contemporary music. That's kind of what I'm into. So
listening to some of your catalog, I picked a song that I really, really enjoyed. Basic Properties of Sight.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That out of everything that I listened to, so I was kind of like, today I was like binge listening, right? So I wanted to kind of get a feel for, that's off your newest album, right? Yeah. Okay. So I want to get a feel for that new album, and out of everything, that one just stuck, and I don't know what it is about it. It just touched me.
It's really loud and angry. I think.
Yeah, it don't look like that. It touched me in the feels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, man.
it was just one of those things that actually made it like I want the song. I want a song to make me feel something, and that made me feel something. And I don't know, like it was like a little bit of sadness, a little bit of like anger, but also just like it just sounded good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, like that song really turned a corner when we decided to add sort of like that chorus of voices there, or like the second half when they all just start going in together, and that's when it starts getting really like big for me. I start getting that same sort of emotional feeling. It's weird, like you listen to your own music, you're like, after a while you forget that you wrote it, so or you even forget that you're singing it. So you're just listening to it, and it's just like, man, I really feel this, and I'm like, of course I fucking do. But when it gets like when you have all those voices coming together and it starts feeling really big and like you've just got this community around it, and that's why I like the big things with the strings and everything. Like the last track on that album has a very kind of epic soundtrack kind of feeling, and I was like, I wanted to do live strings for it because I was like, I need real humans doing this, and so we layered like 20 or 30 strings, like it's huge, and like 3 different drum takes and everything like that. So it's just got this really big, wild, kind of chaotic feeling at the end.
That's what Chet said.
And like, that's definitely like, those are the moments that hit you when like it starts, you think you know what it is and it's kind of simple, and then all of a sudden it just like blows up and you're just like, oh shit, like there it is. Like it catches you in a certain spot.
So before you got here, Javier and Chad both said some stuff about how the albums, what they sounded like to y'all. So Javier, like how you described it was really good.
I mean, me and my sister enjoyed it to where we even had to replay back just like a little instrumental interlude. We were listening to Compass Rose, and so because I just wanted to see what.
Cool, yeah.
I fucking loved that album.
Thanks, man.
I was I got family in town, obviously, and so we just jammed to that and had to replay it, and I just loved it, man. It was so warm.
But you said like specifically it reminded you of like something that you would hear on like a soundtrack, like that, like it's soundtrack worthy music.
Oh yeah, I was talking about because I saw the Shins.
Yeah.
And I brought up Garden State, and I was like, man, you could just like, you can put any one of these songs on that album, and it goes right with everything.
I live for the drama.
It's
Yeah.
fucking
I love
awesome,
it.
man.
Thanks, man.
Or like Walter Mitty, like that would have been
Yeah.
another good movie with some of
yeah.
your songs.
It was like was it Jose Gonzalez
Yes,
on that one?
uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh man,
Great
some
fucking
good songs on that.
Oh my
yeah.
god. So you brought up Rufus Wainwright. Do you have any other like favorite musicians or anything, any artists that inspired you?
Yeah.
Not necessarily your sound, but like got you into wanting to start playing?
Oh yeah. I mean, back in the day, it was. I grew up with Pearl Jam. I mean, like love Nirvana, but Pearl Jam was like that was.
I
it
heard
for me,
that.
It's there.
Yeah, it is.
It's in there, yeah. And like I play acoustic, if like a solo acoustic thing, and people are like, I don't hear it. And I'm like, it's okay. Like when you hear the full production, it's there. That and Muse was another one, like early Muse, like
Muse.
late '90s, early 2000s. That was a big one for me. I also grew up with Fish though, so like a lot of the melodies I write and a lot of the like layering with like piano and stuff like that, it comes from just these jam bands, that I used to love. And then all the like '90s R&B hip hop, things like that. So I try and bring some of that in. It's not really present in my songwriting, but I try and bring it in the production side of things. So like I was working with a beat maker. He's a drummer, but he also makes beats. His name's Brian. For one of these tracks on the album, the one that's kind of more electronic sounding, and he kind of put some together. And I wanted it to have a lot of those kind of elements, but also still feel kind of folky at heart in a lot of ways. So yeah, but then kind of more recently, Andrew Bird is a big one for me. Elliot Smith was always one growing up. It was like, I tell people like he saved my life, and like I mean it kind of literally, kind of pulling you back from the edge there. And then a lot of British songwriters, like Richard Thompson. Ed Harcourt is another one that I listen to a lot. He's not very well known, but he's like, again, kind of one of those idols, but writes everything on the piano, so it's kind of a different tack on things. I don't know. That's probably most of it. I don't know. I don't keep up with a lot of like contemporary music because it's a lot of Baby Shark at home.
Yeah.
What is your favorite song that you've written so far?
Favorite song of mine?
Yeah.
Probably the last song on this most recent album called Lights Are Burning.
Okay.
And that one to me just like it really fully captures like the feeling that I live in every day, like in the society we're in. It's just sort of like, when is it all going to fall apart? And like, when are we going to really be forced to rebuild and start over?
Right.
Like at some point, shit's going to just go crazy and it's going to fall apart. We're going to burn it down. And then we get to figure out what to do next. And I'm sort of waiting for that because I'm like, I'm ready for what's next. I'm not necessarily excited about the whole burning things down, but I just feel like, we're sort of in this holding pattern of like, things get a little better, things get a little worse, things get a little better, things get a little worse. And, eventually everyone's just this tension building. I'm waiting for the release of that.
I'm sorry. Here, I got to stop you. Is that a phone?
I don't know what that is. Is there somebody in your house?
Someone in your house.
Is that your alarm?
Sorry, guys. Sorry, live
All right.
guys.
Hey, just don't watch where you step. Yeah. Just don't do what you did earlier. All right, so like moving back into.
Am I gonna die?
Yeah, you might. I don't know.
I think we're okay. I mean,
But
Let me have another drink then.
moving back into like that song though, like was that one of those songs where after it was done, you're sitting there in the studio, you're playing it back, and you're just like that aha moment, like yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that's one that like it's weird, when these songs sort of they give you the feels. But that's definitely one that I listen back to and I'm like, I can hear all the work we put into it, and I can hear that at least from my perspective we succeeded in what we were trying to do. Like I had a picture in my head, and the actual thing actually looks like the picture.
Yeah.
There's no parts that I'm like, I could have redone that, and that's never happened to me before. So like anything I make, I'm always just like, yeah, if I had more resources, I would have done that better or differently or whatever. And this one, it was just like, I put the work into it, and I feel like it actually worked. Team effort for sure though. So.
Side question: what was the first album do you remember buying?
All right, you're gonna laugh. I bought two at the same time. The first two CDs I ever bought with my own money. The soundtrack to Mortal Kombat Annihilation, not the first one.
That was the second
sequel.
One. Was a good one, I think.
There was a lot of techno remixes, and I was honestly, it was a bop. The other one was the Sister Act soundtrack.
Okay.
So, and that, I don't know if that says something about me musically or anything like that in terms of like, but like those songs slap.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Honestly,
Sister Act?
huge fan.
Yeah, I love Sister Act, and
Whoopi.
so good.
Yeah, and just the music. Just again, it's the drama. I love the voices. Just like going to work.
And now I'm
I
playing.
don't like voices where it sounds like the singer's not working hard.
I'm playing the
I need you to
My
work.
Girl song, My God, whatever,
Yeah.
So that's playing in my head now. Thanks.
You're
It's
welcome.
it's gonna live there for like the next week.
That
your
one's
first
free.
two CDs were soundtracks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess explain something. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then it
I
was
think
Picture
so.
of Nectar by Fish and
Okay.
10 from Pearl Jam. So like, I don't fucking know.
Fish and I didn't have you pegged as a was it they call them
Fish
fish
head?
heads? Yeah. I didn't have
Absolutely.
you pegged for
No, huge fan. That's what got me started playing guitar. I was like, I got to learn how to play Stash. That was the song.
So if you like, I mean, okay, can you like Fish and like the Grateful Dead, or are they like you can't like one or that you can't like both?
I mean, I think you can like both, but you're always going to prefer one. And
Yeah.
It's definitely Fish. Grateful Dead, like, I enjoy it, but it's the kind of thing, like, you just want to chill out. That's fine. But I feel like there's no energy behind it. I feel like, again, like, I need you to work a little bit.
Sounds like a Star Wars, Star Trek.
I'm listening to, like, Trey Anastasio, and he's putting the work in.
definitely
I'm
is.
like, okay, that's the work I'm looking for. You know?
That's what I'm here for.
I need you to show off a little bit. Jesus.
Now, was it like was it your like parents or someone like who got you into Fish though? Like that's kind of a
CD warehouse.
yeah.
It was a bin. I didn't know what the fuck I was
Okay.
doing. I was like, I was like 7 or 8. I just, I was like a giant picture of an orange that looks like a dude's face on it. I'm like,
That looks cool.
that's the one for me. I like the colors. But that's kind of how I did.
That's cool.
'Cause my parents, it was Beatles and it was the Eagles. It was all that classic rock. And my dad was Cat Stevens and Yusuf and James Taylor and all these things. And I was like, this is all fine. It's very easy to listen to, but it doesn't excite me. It doesn't move me. So I was always looking for something that kind of just gave you that spark. Put the fire in your feet.
So
under your
before
feet.
you got the album 10, had you been listening to Pearl Jam just catching on the radio or like
yeah,
okay.
you hear a little bit.
Okay.
So Fish was just random off the cuff.
Fish
I
was-
like the orange.
Like, yeah, basically.
Nice.
It's like this dude with a mustache and looks like an orange peel. Like,
It's a happy accident.
Cannot go wrong.
Nice. Well done.
I love hearing that. I do love that.
Happy accident.
Happy
just
accident.
love-
That's how I
yeah.
found Medulla by Bjork. And that, again, huge inspiration. Like, good Lord.
I used to go to Half Price Books and just like once I got a record player, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna find anything and everything. Like, there's $2 records over here. You know what I mean? I started just like grabbing them. I was like, that album art's pretty cool. And then I found some really awesome albums by some musicians I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And really enjoyable stuff. So I'm here for that.
You got to be
People
careful
don't
with
do that anymore.
You got to be careful with jazz.
It's pronounced Yaz.
Yeah, you got to be careful with Yaz because you could get like who was it that was describing it as pots and pans?
He's talking about John
Ayala.
Coltrane.
Yeah.
Was he talking about John Coltrane?
Well, he was just talking about like jazz in general. Like you can get like what, and I'm with him. I consider it good jazz.
Right.
And then you get to like the weird
Free jazz.
pots and pans sounding, people banging on
Just a
stuff,
lot.
cats screaming in the background. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a little much for me.
If you watch Atlanta, it's like new jazz. New jazz.
new jazz?
Nobody watch Atlanta?
No.
Anybody on the chat? No. What was your favorite song on that Mortal Kombat soundtrack? I have to ask. I want to.
I mean, it was the main theme remix.
Yeah.
I think it was the last track on there. So you kind of had to sit through the whole thing. Because, like, honestly, a lot of it doesn't make any sense if you're not watching the movie.
Absolutely.
You're just kind of like, yeah, like, this is where, Jax is really going at it with, whoever. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like,
But you,
Everyone went. For
I wasn't
that.
old enough to watch the movie.
But you
That's
buy
the
this-
weirdest thing. I had the game on, like, Sega. I was like 7, dude. Yeah, so I was... yeah, like I had it on like Sega Genesis and we'd play it, but like I'd never seen the movies.
you buy that album though, and like after you see the movies, it's like you put it on. Like now we're gonna reenact the movie. That's what I did as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did that too.
I do that
Oh, my
now
God.
where I play a
Yeah.
soundtrack and I'm like, what's happening in this part?
I have that soundtrack on my phone.
I believe you.
I do, 100%. I'm a fucking nerd, man.
Yeah.
I have like a fucking Howl's Moving Castle, and I have like Cowboy Bebop and soundtrack and all that crap, and
Bebop is good though.
it's really good.
So
good music.
before we got on air, you mentioned something about like maybe voicing over anime. So are you an anime fan?
I'm like a shallow anime fan.
Okay.
So I love anime movies, but I cannot commit to watching like 25 seasons of Bleach or whatever. I can't do it. I could try,
Yeah.
but like my life doesn't allow for that. So like
True.
I'm a big like Satoshi Kon fan. Obviously like Miyazaki's great. And then it starts going down kind of a rabbit hole after a while. And I've seen some series like shorter, kind of like 1 or 2 season things, but like when it goes like the Dragon Ball Z territory, I'm like, if I open that door, then like I'm never coming out.
No.
I'll be up at like 4 a.m. holding
Chad
a
and
baby.
I, we've gotten into Attack on Titan,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it's weird, and it gets weird, and it gets really weird.
Yeah.
But that I'm not a big anime fan, but we have I have a friend of ours who started a podcast, Emo Otaku,
Yeah.
Otaku, yeah. Anyways, they talk about anime and they talk about hardcore like music, so like the
okay,
hardcore
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
So, two vastly different things. but he's been pushing and after listening to his episodes, he's like pushing anime, and then finally I was just like, all right, fine.
You know what they have in common? Those two genres: online gaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Like World of Warcraft, kind of like back in the day. Like you'd have something on, and it was either dubbed anime or it was like the heaviest like black metal you can imagine.
I
had a
can
buddy
see
in
that.
college who was like, this is my friend's roommate. He had to drop out because he played too much. I think it was either World of Warcraft or League of Legends or one of those. And he would fall asleep listening to death metal.
Oh, wow.
That's how he fell asleep. He'd put headphones on. It was very considerate. And he would fall asleep to that. And I was like, I don't know how the fuck
Yeah, I
you
think
do
that's what
that,
I think that's what Lance does.
Probably.
think
Yeah,
he
I don't
just-
know. I've never been an anime fan, like at all. There's never really been an anime I've gotten into. And then I was like, same with Tim mentioned it. I was like, well, shit, if Tim's going to watch it, like everyone's talked, Jerby's talked about it when he was
That's
here
a
on
weird
the
one to
show.
start with. I don't know.
Right, it really is. The
Is it?
artwork is it's pretty hardcore.
It's very gruesome too.
Absolutely,
you know?
100%.
That's one of the things I like about it.
It's like the
And it's
animation.
I'm here for the
really-
violence.
And it's a really cool, like something I didn't think that I would be into, like for a storyline.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's giants and shit. You know, it's like, oh, okay, no, I'm good. But then you get behind the backstory and stuff. You're like, holy shit, this is extremely intricate. Like,
Honestly, the world building is what what most people get into.
Yeah.
It's like the characters are always going to be like 1 or 2 dimensional at best.
Right.
And then the world building is what you're here for. It's like most of it's not plot based. Like you don't really care what happens. You're just here for like
It reminds me of Game of
discovering the
Thrones.
secret of the world.
Yeah,
like, you gotta-
100%. That's exactly.
You got to know all the map, and you got to know the different families and where they are, and different times and things like that. You're exactly right. Like,
And the
I
good
didn't
ones,
know that was a thing.
The good ones make it accessible. Like you don't have to know all that shit to enjoy it, but if you do, it gets even better.
Yeah.
But the bad ones are just like, we're just gonna throw you in. You don't know what the fuck's going on, and we don't care.
I mean, you brought up like 25 seasons of something, and I think One Piece is on like 23 years
Right?
going on their anime, and at this point, you're like,
I got a lot of friends that love it. I'm like, I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
I am sure it's great. I'm also sure I'm never gonna watch it.
I'm too busy
I
for
can't
this.
start it,
No.
And I'm gonna hate it if I get like 3 seasons in and I'm like, I gotta stop. Like even though it's good, like I have a life to live, and then I'm always gonna be wondering. I'll be like 10 years later, I'll be like, what the fuck was gonna happen with Luffy or whoever,
yeah,
Never gonna know.
Never know.
man. So
Did Goku
okay,
make it out?
yeah, is he still alive? Goku still? Yeah, no.
He's got to be a great grandpa by now.
He's that man's got to be 60 years old, and he's
Goku.
not aged.
Yeah.
So back to music. So you're here in Fort Worth. What's one spot you'd love to play music at?
Does that have to be Fort Worth?
Well, to both Fort Worth and like around the world. What's your favorite venue?
Okay. Hollywood Bowl for sure. Be amazing. But honestly, like, the reason I like larger stages is because I want to be able to bring more pieces on stage, So like the little, the smaller stages just don't allow for that, and the smaller spaces don't really allow for that because there's just too much sound I want to put out. So it's not really about the ego in terms of like, I want to perform for 10,000 people. It's more just like, I want a big space with dedicated sound that I can really show you what I have in my head instead of just having to do the rock trio thing all the time. I still love doing that, and that's what I take on tour, and like that's a lot of fun. And I think that's what most people get into when they see the shows. But I'm just like, man, I could show you another world if you would let me bring 12 string players on the stage with me. But in terms of local venues, Tulips is definitely one that like every time I go, I'm just like, I should do this. I should do this more. I should play here. I've never played there. The new Lolas, I've heard good things. I haven't been. I think they're still kind of working out some kinks, but I have no doubt. I know the guy running sound there, and I have no doubt it's going to be epic when it's all set.
Thinking bigger, right? Like you're talking about, like you want to make sure that the sound is where it should be for the type of, orchestra and everything that you want to put behind you. Would you prefer Dickies or Bass Hall?
Bass Hall.
Yeah?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, I
Yeah.
figured as much.
So I saw Lyle Lovett and his band play, and like that's the closest I've seen anywhere in Fort Worth to what I want to do. Because it was, he had his 12, 13-piece band up there, and it's country, but it's big band, it's jazz. It's got the jazz and the blues and everything behind there. This episode sponsored by White Claw. That was honestly, it was eye-opening to say, like, it doesn't have to be the classical world here, you know.
Right.
They do all kinds of stuff. They do musicals and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I grew up with the show tunes and I grew up with all that kind of stuff. So that would be a space that I would much, I would like, it would be a dream come true,
Yeah.
you know, honestly. I did the, they gave out grants. It was like Sounds of Resilience during the pandemic. And they, you know, I applied for a grant and I got one of the smaller grants, but like the 5 like top finalists got to like write a song together and they got to perform it on the stage, and I was like, oh, that would have been a dream. Like, oh, that's, you know, this could be me if I had $20,000. I just rent it out, you know, just do it.
So I'm getting like the polyphonic spree vibes from you.
Not quite so chaotic,
Not
but yeah.
Okay, but like I
in terms of like the
right,
grandeur, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'm you know, I have big dreams. You know, what can I say?
I just see these like
Hippies.
cultish people behind you with their stringed instruments, and I mean they are a bit
Imagine
chaotic,
them
but
more
yeah.
in like in tuxedos though.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, it's because that's the thing is that
Yeah.
like all the arrangements, they're coming from a pretty classical background,
Right.
You know, and I use primarily traditional like classical players. Like I pull them from orchestras, I pull them from symphonies. That's what I want, you know, because I want people that I can hand the music and say, we have a rehearsal on Thursday. They nail it on Thursday, and then they nail it again on Friday, Saturday, whatever.
So consistency and professionalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha.
Is that so much to ask?
Okay, well, in the world of music and bands,
Right. Yeah, and I don't have to pay them. That's
yes,
Yeah.
for free. Can we do it?
You know, that can be a bit reaching there.
Yeah. No, it's a big ask, and that's, you know, I've been doing this for what year is it? 12 years now, and no, only 11. I'm still young.
Of course, you're a young buck.
Yeah,
You know,
12, you're screwed. 11 years.
But the first, like, you know, 5 or 6 of that was solo. And then, you know, I've done like 3 or 4 years now with a band. And, you know, the more I do it, the more I'm just like, man, I could just add more people. I could just do more things. You know, like the music is there. It's arranged. It's ready to go. I just need people to play it. So,
yeah.
Like a visionary,
yeah.
like Kanye.
I mean, could be.
I mean, like you gotta. The way I see it, he opened for Usher. His next show here was at Reunion Arena at a BMX tour
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
and then after that was his first headlining where he brought out an orchestra. And
There you go.
You know, so
I think, was it back in the day, it was the Coolio that used to do that too?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you're
LL
right.
Cool J? No, it was Coolio, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
And he would have, he would have like an orchestra playing with him, you know? And that was before I think any of that kind of stuff was possible with pop music, especially hip hop, you know?
Why is it you always tie everything back to Kanye?
he's just
'Cause you're never gonna
when
fail?
It comes to,
Is that-
because I'm never gonna
Yeah.
fail. Yeah, I think it just like he's
It's always
such
topical.
He's right, but he's like such a genius with like music, you know, and I know like his off the wall stuff is one thing, but like when it comes to him and how he uses instrumentals and his voice and his mouth in general to like make beats and so that's what I kind of feel.
I mean, there's a reason he's as big as he is, you know? It's not by accident.
No.
So let's go back to the new album that just dropped, last month? Is it July?
June.
June. So 2 months.
June 17th, yeah.
Okay, so Get Right dropped. It's been on for 2 months now. What can you tell us about that album? Why would people want to listen to that?
It's good. It's really good. Now,
And that's the end of the episode, folks. Thanks for joining
thanks
us.
for your time. I would say the biggest reason to listen to it is because, I mean, the reason I want anyone to listen to music in general is so that they connect to it on some level. You know, if you
Right.
connect to it up here in your head, that's great. If you connect to it down here in your heart, I think that's even better. Down here in your stomach, that's where I really want to get you.
Okay.
I want to hit you in a place that like is so low that you didn't even know it was there.
Do you get lower than the stomach? Or that's where you're going to stop?
That's court order. I have to stop.
Perfect. Got it. Okay.
No, and this album I feel like accomplishes that in a variety of ways that I've never been able to do before. So, you know, I would like to think, you know, on an accessible level, it hits you kind of in the head. And you can say, this is good music. I enjoy this. And you start listening to the words and you say, you know, that's kind of interesting to think about. You know, we're talking about, you know, some personal issues, some kind of community issues, and then some sort of larger kind of global issues. You know, I call it Get Right because it's sort of like I want us all to kind of get our shit together,
Right.
or America just becomes a third world country. You know, it's like Get Right or Get Left Behind is that's the title track, and that's kind of, you know, Get Right is short for that. So you know, kind of, so you know, I think some songs kind of hit you on that head level, and then you know, there's also kind of the more emotional side where it hits you kind of more in the heart, and it says, you know, these are things that like the last 2 years especially, I feel like we've been dealing with, but kind of avoiding in some ways. Like it's around us, but we're kind of ignoring it right now and trying to draw attention back to that and say, you know what, like it's okay to be human. It's okay to have feelings. Like let's get into the feelings. And then, kind of on that gut level, just the really like just the raw kind of intensity, kind of like what you're saying in Basic Property is a site where you have to connect to it on that really visceral level. And I feel like this album accomplishes all of those things in different parts. The flow of it is I think wonderful. Like it's weird
agree.
because like I try to talk about this in a way that's not egotistical, but I really just genuinely think it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's good for me to be far enough along in my career that I don't worry about the kind of vanity side of it, because I didn't make this as a vanity project. I don't make music that way anymore. Like I used to make music that was all about me, and now I feel like I'm making it more about trying to help people, trying to change the world in any small way that I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're into things that make you think and feel, then yeah, I think you'll like it.
So that's your inspiration, really, to have people think and feel and have that kind of like current events and things that are going on, things that people can relate to.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I don't exaggerate when I say music saved my life, you know. And if anything I do helps you in any way, shape, or form in that regard, then I'm happy. I've done my job.
So I was listening to it again in the car, and so I don't know if it was like just like at the end of a song, beginning of a song, or was it like an interlude? But you've got a couple of just music, right?
Are there's some instrumental tracks there,
like flutes and stuff and things like beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And those again, they're sort of like part of the flow. I wrote those specifically to kind of go in those spots to say, all right, we're gonna take a breath.
Right.
We're gonna take a little breath. We'll be back in 5, kind of a thing, and then we're gonna start feeling and dealing with shit again. So take a breath and enjoy just the soundscape.
Like that.
One of those is about my daughter, and one of them is about kind of the idea of death, but it's not it's not too on the nose. And then another one is sort of it's about literally just like throwing all your shit away and going to live in the woods. Like that's we all have that urge of just like get the fuck out of here, like just go live in the woods
without words.
Yeah, no, those have words.
Yeah.
But they do have weird like mime movement pieces that go with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I performed those at the album release. I studied corporeal mime as like part of my theater minor when I was in college, and it's kind of like pantomime, but it's a little different, a little more modern dancey. So I choreographed these 3 pieces that go with each of those songs.
Interesting. That's pretty neat.
So if I can find a good videographer that wants to work with me,
no, we just want you to do it right now.
All right, man.
We're on video.
For it.
So now, after hearing how you describe all that, here's what I want. I want a showcase.
These are my demands.
I want a showcase with
Bring
you,
the shackles.
and I want to see Joseph Neville play on the same stage, not at the same time, but both of those. So Joseph, I don't know if you've listened to his stuff.
Oh yeah.
His songs are meant to make you feel something, and make you feel a certain way, right? Your songs are meant to make you feel a certain way. I want y'all both to play them, and
That'd
I want
be a
to
hell of
watch.
a show.
I want to watch Teresa just bawl the entire time,
Yeah.
because that's what would happen.
I think I would too.
I think we all would-
I almost
yeah.
did seeing Joseph Neville at Tulips,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, beautiful.
And then I saw you before. I mean, I didn't even know your music at all. I was just going to get frozen coffee at what is the place
Nickel
with the
City?
Po' Boys?
No.
Twilight.
Twilight.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Is that where you saw me? That's
Yes.
great. Oh, I love
yeah.
that place.
And so I was there just to kind of hang out and have a couple of drinks and enjoy myself. And then y'all were performing,
Gross.
and you were just amazing. Like you just had, I mean, it was chill, but like I did feel something. And your voice is very distinct. And it was like the music was just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was just very, very enjoyable. I will say I have not seen you live since, but I would love to. Like I would love to see you live again.
Yeah.
Although Joseph Neville and him sharing a stage might be a little bit too much feeling.
That's what I'm saying.
It might
I'm going
be.
to cry.
There's no such
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Cry. Fucking
gonna
cry.
cry.
Are
Yeah,
you
just
kidding
do
me?
it. It's healthy.
It's good for you.
That's the fucking point. You know?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm on a podcast with a bunch of guys. Here we are. But
We're talking
like,
about crying.
It's,
Let's
it's
cry,
okay to have
boys.
emotions. You know
Oh,
what I mean? And I'm here for it.
We're here. We're all absolutely
Oh, yeah.
pro
Yeah.
mental health, pro. Dude, we're
We had a whole episode that we got into like the mental health aspect, and we actually never released it because it was like
It was a little
Too much.
this
yeah.
is
a little much.
this is too
But
dark.
it was also good
Yeah.
to talk
me.
about it. No, no, I think we're good.
No, pass.
So back to shows. Do you have any upcoming shows?
well, okay. So bad news. Over this tour, my drummer told me he had to quit.
Oh,
He's leaving town, and yeah. So I'm working on bringing a new drummer in. So currently, don't have any shows lined up until
Okay.
I kind of get him settled.
let us know though.
Absolutely,
we'd
yeah.
love to make it out, and then also shout it out on social and see who we can kind of come out with us because I would love to see you perform again.
Drummers.
It's a good time, yeah.
Yeah, but it is a multi-listen album, so you get new things once you keep listening over and over. So give that a listen on all streaming platforms. I listen to it
He's
on
just
Apple.
like,
It's on everything except Amazon.
Amazon.
okay.
There's an Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazon's
like
got
Amazon
music?
Prime streaming. I'm on the fuck Amazon platform. Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry.
So where can people find you on social media?
At Court Hoang, I'm the only one that exists. COURTHOANG. That's my handle on everything. So TikTok, Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok.
Facebook. Yeah. It's a lot of parenting shit on there, but it's still
The parenting algorithms. Well, man, we've enjoyed hanging out with you. Thanks for coming on, man. This has been great.
absolutely, man. Huge pleasure.
Have you enjoyed yourself? Has this been okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay
me?
with this?
Have you seen the whiskey bottles? This is a good time.
Hey, look, we give people drinks and
Five
they tend to
stars,
like
five
it. So
stars.
They seem to think we're okay after a few
Yeah.
whiskeys. Hey, thanks everybody for watching us on YouTube if you're doing so. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. You can also follow us on all the social medias at The Funky Panther. You can give us a call. Text us, 817-677-0408. We'd love to hear from you. All of this stuff is at thefunkypanther.com. Stay good, everybody. I'm Chad.
I was going to say Tim. Javier.
I'm Tim.
And we are
the
Funky Panther.
Panther.
Ah.
Stay cool, y'all.